Hello. So I'll try and keep the context as short as possible. I'm literally coming out of screaming for hours. Well, I say hours. Yeah, it must be hours. As a result of, I don't know if there was a. I'll give you a bit of context, as I said. There was a movie a while ago about American soldiers. It was like a sort of like a 12 rated. It wasn't too serious. It wasn't too dark, but it was about US. Well, I say US. It was about the good guys, the army guys. They went into some sort of country, some sort of complex, and people had been turning into zombies. Like the heads were like, rock back off their neck like that, like real supernatural stuff, and their bodies would all change. And then there was this one guy, which is a good reminder, who had the virus that made everybody like this. Be back in a second. Who had the virus, but he didn't go crazy. I mean, the special forces were interrogating him, and instead of going mad like everybody else and like bodies and like limbs flying all over the place, he just like calmly lit a cigarette. And you could tell he was under a lot of pressure, but he just got on. I'm not so lucky. I'm the one that has its body parts bent all over the place, because that's what it's a bit like for me. It's like, I mean, I'm laughing and I shouldn't be, because the truth is it's such a serious situation. It's such a sensitive situation for myself and for my neighbours, because I can't imagine the stress I'm putting them under. But so I don't put them under further stress, further trouble going forward, I'm doing my best to manage everything. And what it was, it's like, as I said, my legs, it feels like they're bending all over the place, like I'm walking like a duck, literally, or a goat or something. Like they don't bend that way, but they're wanting to go that way, and it's disturbing as anything. But what it is, it's been going on for months now, and over this time I'm constantly trying to apply my training to the madness and try and keep my posture in check. So as I've gone along, I've learned like to be continued places. Like if I just keep applying this posture, this move, like this internal posture, I can sort of rest and I can sort of find peace. I know that things aren't going to get bad, and if anything, my body's going to be moving in the right direction, and it's not going to, I don't have to trouble myself too much. And I've learned like a few of them, and I know that doesn't make sense, but it's like, imagine your legs start flailing, going in all strange directions. Sorry, I'm going to have to do something quite unpleasant. I'm going to have to just clear my throat. I'm really sorry about that. So imagine your legs going in all different directions, and you're trying to apply whatever training you have. It might be like standard exercise. That might be your thing. My thing is more Qigong. My thing is more everything that I've ever learned, including my alternative therapies. I'm an energy therapist, so that's where I work with everything. I can't, the NHS don't want to take it on as a responsibility. I'm left to deal with it. So I'm constantly trying to work, and I can feel when it's moving in the right direction, and I can feel when it's not. And every so often, after I've done a lot of work, I've got to a place where I'm like, I can just rest here. This sort of whatever's going on, it's not perfect, but there's no real problem, you know. I know I'll have to put in hours and hours of work to get it back in check, but my life isn't permitting that. So to keep myself on track, I save my energy by, as I said, when I go along, I find this, I don't know how to describe it, it's like an energetic posture to this transfiguration, and I remember it. But it's not always applicable dependent upon what's going on. So as I'm going round and the madness is happening with my body, I'm trying this, I'm trying that, I'm trying the other, and I'm screaming in pain. So it's not like I've got a massive chance to sit, stop and think. I just have to get on. And then I stumble upon one of these things, this energetic posture that I remember from before. And it's like all of a sudden I can gain peace, I can rest. And it's not why I'm saying this, but this video is going to be appropriate, and I think I'm going to use it when I'm speaking to healthcare professionals, GPs, doctors, to explain to them as to why all of a sudden I'll stop from being in screaming fits. I can stop all of a sudden, and that's the reason. But where I've managed to stop now, because it's been very depressing this week, was my mum's level. There's nothing there, you know. I've not even mourned her passing yet, but there must be something subconscious. The depression is a bit more dense in my energy field this week, and I can feel it that way. It might just be the spiritual bastards who are running my mental health and life have decided to test me. Is it really your mum? Is it really you? What's going on, Andreas? Where do you go? I don't care. All I know is that the depression is a bit dense, and I don't want to dwell in it. So where I stopped screaming just now, it's not only that I don't want to dwell in the depression, because if that's the only option, do it, because you're not going to fight depression. It's not what you do. You don't fight depression. Depression is, you either choose to change your life to the depression, or you accept the depression because it makes sense. That's my perspective. So I stopped the shouting, and I was standing there, and there's a want to get a bit more proactive. I've seen an opportunity in my life on a larger scale to possibly steer it back in a little bit more of a harmonious direction. I mean, that's got to be the intent. I don't know if it's going to work, but I'm going to try it. Wanting to do that, I stopped shouting, and I felt the depression and this deeper depression, almost like I wanted to rest in it, because it's soothing. If you've just been, if you're in pain, and if you're screaming in hysteria, the energy of depression, just as a pure energy, is very soothing. But obviously it's not just the energetic feeling, is it? There's a whole mentality of that. It's like alcohol. I'm sure if you have a couple of drinks, you'll feel great. On the whole, you don't want to be doing it to your body and your liver for too long. You want to keep it in check, you know. A few glasses of wine and the goods, non-pasteurised beer here and there, do your body a world of good. Like if your diet that were barely non-Greek, I don't think, that would come at family occasions, and he would have, and he was a very wise man, spiritual, and that's where my spiritual fire must have been lit by this man. I still remember bits of advice that he gave. I remember being there as a child, watching TV with my sister at my grandmother's, and then all the adults would be there talking with Henry, and I'd be looking at the TV, but my ears would be listening. And that's me, that's my life, and you know, I owe him credit for steering me in this direction. I mean, I hate spirituality, but it's I couldn't imagine another life, if I'm honest. As much as I'd sell out, if you can deal with the contradictions in your head, it's not something I could imagine being without. So it's an element of truth for me. So I resisted to drop into the depression, and I thought, let me pick up the mobile and make a live stream. It's just things are so hard, man. But look, I'm not going to talk any more about my problem. That's the context. Now, I want to talk about something spiritual, and with that, I need your input because my brain is still in a bit of like distress, and it's not calm, it's not relaxed, it's not able to think. So what I'm going to do is just talk about something for like a couple of minutes, but to the one or two people that may be watching, subject matter, what's your intention to this discussion? What can we talk about? What can I talk about with you? Because I'm not here. You know, if your intention is pure, it's going to come through me in a way that's most appropriate for you. So set your intentions, and we'll start speaking. And I can appreciate some of you may get activated by what I say when you sent your intention a specific way, but no, I'm sure if you set your intention, what comes back will be in your highest good. But you know, you can also set the intention, I don't want to be activated by it. So let's see if let's start talking about possible subject matter, see what we stumble on, and 20 minutes, 25 minutes, that's another 10, 12 minutes. I'm here in love. We can talk about love. What else can we possibly discuss? The reason is because I walk through my life and like, there's nothing else that I think about besides spirituality, man. And it's like, you catch me at any moment and say, Andreas, what are you thinking about? I'll give you some sort of spiritual thing. This is when I'm not being tormented. And even when I'm being tormented, it's often spiritual. But because I speak when trauma stops, I can't think. It's like I might as well have not had any thoughts for the last 2 weeks. So we've got love so far. So with love, and I'll speak like a conversation. Let's see if we can do it like this. With love, my perspective, because we're going to be speaking, unfortunately, through my past, through what I know. And my perspective on love is that it doesn't exist. Is that something you still want to be discussing for the next 10 minutes? Or do you want to keep the lie? Because if I was you, I'd keep the lie. I'd tell myself love exists for the rest of my life, and I'd live in insanity. Because when you realise love doesn't exist, it creates a different level of what you could say reality. But unfortunately, we're all conditioned to the world that we're brought up in, and we're sold the lie of love. And it's like telling an adult, Father Christmas doesn't exist. You know, it's the equivalent of telling an adult, Father Christmas doesn't exist, that you would say to a child. So on a personal level, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I don't want to ruin anybody's life. But if you keep pushing, I will talk about it, unfortunately. I just have to talk about something that it doesn't exist. With love, I had the realization of a day that they have like apparently 24 words for snow. Now, what is snow to an Eskimo? It's everything, isn't it? But I'm sure if snow was a bit like sun, or a bit like just a day of the week, when it's everything that you need in terms of every decision near enough goes through snow, we begin to compartmentalise it, don't we? It makes sense to say, right, this snow is not just normal snow, it's this type of snow, and that snow is a different type of snow, because you don't want to go and chop wood in that snow, but this snow, it's okay. It's like imperative, man. You don't want to live any other way than to focus on the very thing that can take your life easier than anything, and is in your face more than anything. And that's reflective, because the ancient Greeks, you know, I know they were meant to be off on the love train, but it got me thinking, the ancient Greeks had 24 words for love. And in reality, looking at the past, looking at ancient Egypt, ancient China, well, it seems like they had it right, you know? They're a bit cleverer than us. Somewhere we've become dumb over the years. I don't know where. We must have been invaded by aliens, or just took the negatives from the blissful paradises we had around us, and either way we have a collective amnesia. I believe it's likely to do with the Ark of the Covenant, which dates back to, again, ancient India, and I believe Alexander the Great. You know, the history books don't tell the truth, so it really could be anywhere from about 2,000-3,000 years ago to God knows how long. Up to 13. Yes. So the ancient Greeks are a bit wiser than us. That's my perspective. Not because they were Greek. Because they were Greek, they probably hindered themselves. But because you just look at the way they lived. You look at the way the ancient Vedas lived. You would look at the time of the ancient Taoists, the wisdom they had. Where is that now? Where's that now? You got Mr. Russell Brand, who's about it in terms of spirituality, putting information out there. You got Eckhart Tolle, but between the two of them, all right. Then you got Deepak Chopra. They're not doing it, man. It's like little bits of information intermixed within. And what comes out is a bit wishy-washy. I mean, you've got Eckhart Tolle sitting there in New Earth. Fuck me, what's changed? Sorry, Eckhart, I mean, I appreciate it, but I'm still screaming, man. Is this the new earth? So, in my eyes, the ancients were wiser than us. And ancient Greeks had 24 words for love. It hit me that to how powerful it is, because it can give life, and in that terms is everything, isn't it? Just as the snow is. But it can also take life. It can make you mad. It can make you insane. Now, in terms of being sane first, the ancients had it right, didn't they? The ancients lived by nature. The Greeks, the Egyptians, the Vedas, the ancient Taoists, they all lived by nature. And to go from nature, which is like pure, unbelievable paradise, to applying a level of insanity to that paradise that you already have for this thing that is called love, that is ever present, and it takes an absolute application of this thing to stay on top of it, to stay in control of it. Nature, they came from bliss. We come from insanity. We come from sickness. We come from disease. And to offer love, yes, why would you do? And it's so painful just to open your eyes and look at all the different affairs that are going on in the world. If you're going to be like, nah man, fuck this, I'm off. I'm claiming insanity, I'm going in this direction. I'm claiming love. I've got a mental health disorder of love. It depends, you know, where are we? I'm in a strange place where I'm alone. I'm in a strange place where I'm ill. I'm in a strange place I can't really love because of my illness. So it's easy for me to just say, well, let's just fuck it. I'll forget about it. If I had life, it would be something to fight for. It would be something the other one too. But in my perception, it doesn't exist in this world. And at present, my mental health, and I believe this must have been applicable to the ancient Greeks, because at the moment my mental health is taking me on a merry-go-round. Apparently I'm in love and going to marry about 5 different women. I'm just watching this story, this movie go past my eyes on a daily basis, like, Andreas, you love this person. Andreas, you love this person. You love this person because you're a soulmate because of this. You love this person because you're a soulmate because of that. You're a soulmate because you're a blah, blah, blah. And it goes round and round. There's about 5 different women. I don't love any of them. I don't wish to be in a relationship with them. Any of them. But the experience, I might as well. It'd be easier. And this must be applicable on some level to what takes place within the rest of us. It could even be the disease. It could be the disease, it could be the archetype. All in love with the world. So we're like, fuck this, let's change tact, let's make the world sick, go out and find one. Is that? The irony is, and this is the truth, so what I'm about to say is, love doesn't exist press stop. Right, for those that you want to know, right now, in my honest opinion, love doesn't exist. Love has to be unconditional. You're either in love with someone for yourself, and if that's it, if you're happy with that, you're a narcissist, then we'll claim that as love, and nobody can argue that. But in truth, two ways. And for that reason, it's impossible that you do it for another person. Because you look out the window, the world is ill. There are 1,000,001 people in a lot more pain than anybody in this country can imagine. And they're just sitting there as a result of everybody, because we're all part of this game. If the weak stood up, maybe balance would come. If those who have, like us, stood up and said, no, we're going to be in solidarity with those that are, something would happen. But at the moment, nothing's happening. We're just continuing Monday to Friday. Weekend comes, oh, there's a pandemic, oh, 60,000 people back in Wembley for the final all of a sudden, you know. What happened there? I thought it was a pandemic, then still deadly Delta virus, or, you know, it doesn't exist. Love doesn't exist. It's impossible because of the outside world. How can I love one person more than another? That's what it comes down to. Because when it's unconditional, it's as simplistic as that. I love every human being the same. But you could say I know my sexuality, and in terms of my sexuality, it's attractive relationship. That's not really love. Yeah, it could be circumstance, and it could be something that looks like love, and it would be a very nice experience of life. And I implore people to do that. We've got to clean up everything, man. Then we can all sit, have a beer, say, fuck me, I'm exhausted. I'm going to have a sleep for about a month, and when I wake up, because there's nothing fucking to do in this world, we're all happy, we're all on the level, nobody is suffering more than calm. After a month, and I go to get on with my life, and I look around and I think, right, I've got to live. The world's got to be different, doesn't it? So the world's not the same on the outside. I'll leave it up to you all to imagine a world where we respect every single human the same, to create the right life for them. What would the world look like? And when we get up from our month of sleep and slumber, we say, right, this is the world. I can love now. How do I want to love? Do I want to love one person for the rest of my life and make an absolute commitment to them? Or do I want to love everybody and just love people as I walk through my life? But there's a work to do, man. There's work to do. And that's the reason it doesn't exist. Because, well, it's for everybody. Innit? My dinner's getting cold. Thank you for keeping me in a better frame of mind, and hopefully this forward thinking of application to my circumstance is going to, you know, bear some fruit. It's okay to say I love you too. Just the way it is to say I'm sorry. Nobody's ever fucking sorry. Not really. Not really. say I'm sorry to you. And I say I love you because what's happening is my mental health has picked one of the girls that I love more than I'm attracted to. And as I said, I love you. It flashed a bit of that psychotic storyline across my eyes. That's why I stopped. But it's okay to say I love you. Just realise where we are. Realise what you're doing, why you're doing it. And don't deny yourself the simple thing of saying I love you. When all you're doing is trying to love as much as possible, isn't it? You won't ever get there. That might be it. Aim for love. That's as close to love we can get. That's my theory. But I might be the first person to claim unconditional love. I'm insane, aren't I? All it would take is for me to say, fuck this, I've got nothing to lose. I've got unconditional love. I'm mentally ill. And I don't have paranoid schizophrenia anymore. I have unconditional love. And the amount I hate everybody, I hate you all, I'll get to my aloneness and I'll realise this is shit. I might as well put myself in some sort of constant psychotic state to myself where I can be totally in bliss with everybody and forget that I hate them. And I'm sure I'll keep you